All right, vocab logic. So I will try to remember to say this at the beginning of each of the vocab videos. The number one way you can improve your vocab score, which vocab makes up word knowledge, let's call it WK, and which is one of the four sections that is going to make up your ASVAB score. Okay, so it's 25% of your score. So even if you think, oh, what I really need is math, well, if you're hitting all these vocab, if you're getting all these vocab questions, is your score is probably pretty decent. Okay, so having said that, so the best way to improve your vocab score is to read more, right? So try to make an effort to try to be reading something like 15 minutes a day. Pick something that you like, right? A topic that you like. If it relates to the military, all the better, because some of these vocab questions do connect into like military type words. All right. So with these questions, as far as the logic section of vocab, it'll typically be something like you'll be asked for the opposite of a given word, what word doesn't belong in this group, and then sometimes synonyms or antonyms. Okay, synonym means similar, right? Which word is the most similar to this? Antonym is opposite. So you got to be familiar with that. Okay, so we got two little questions here. So this one first. Okay, so the answer choices are right here. Attempt, gain, endeavor, try. Those are the four answer choices. Okay, so in the following group of words, which word does not belong? Okay, so that means that three of these words are similar and one of them is not similar. And so what I'd like to be giving you is some ways to, like if you know what all the words mean, then you're going to get it right. Okay, so that's really work done on your own with the stuff you're talking about, like reading more. Okay, but we also want to go over. So a lot of times people look at something and they're like, I don't know, and then they just panic and just guess, and then you just have a 25% chance of getting it right. So a lot of times there are ways to eliminate some answers here. Okay, so in this one, our answer choices are attempt, gain, endeavor, and try, and one of these does not belong. Okay, so let's say, just for argument's sake, that you're not completely sure what endeavor means. The other three words you're pretty likely to be familiar with as far as attempt, gain, and try, but perhaps you don't know endeavor. So usually we think, okay, if there's a word I don't know, I'm just going to do that one last. Okay, so attempt, gain, and try. And so what I would be thinking there is attempt and try seem very similar to me. If I I tried to get up early this morning. I attempted to get up early this morning. Pretty similar. Pretty similar. Okay, so I'm thinking those can't be the answer. Okay, and then when I look at gain, okay, like a gain, so like if I, like in football, if you attempt to run the ball, and you got 0 yards as opposed to I gained 5 yards, it's different. It's not the same thing. So my immediate reaction is to think gain looks like a pretty good choice. Now, if I'm stuck and I don't know what endeavor means, I'll probably still pick gain because gain seems different than those two, and there's this other word I don't know. Okay, so it ends up that endeavor is very similar to either try or attempt, and so the answer is gain. But still, even if I didn't know the word endeavor, I could at least get it down to 50-50. If that word that I have circled, which in this case is gain, seems like the right answer, I'm going to go with that. If all three words seem similar, then I'll pick the word I don't know. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, so this is an opposite one. Like we talked about that here in the beginning, that those would show up. Which word means the opposite of colorful? Okay, so what I like to do and what I recommend is before I even look at the answer choices, I'm already kind of trying to picture what type of answers are going to seem correct. Okay, so the opposite of colorful, right? So it'll probably be something that's darkish, or like some kind of like opaque type color, something like that. That's what I'll be looking for, right? Those type of answers. Okay, and then I look at my answer choices: stable, sultry, black, drab. Okay, so as I go through the answers, stable has like nothing, that doesn't represent color to me at all, right? So it just doesn't apply, right? So I should be able to cross that one out. That one's not possible. Sultry, same thing, doesn't have any association with color or lack of color. And then we have black and drab. Okay, so as I'm looking at it, like I'm thinking drab makes more sense, but it could be that you're not sure what drab means. Um, black would be like a little bit extreme as far as like that's the opposite of colorful. Like drab would be just kind of blah, like not too much to it. And we do have an answer key and see if drab is in there. So we go to the top. Okay, so here it says the question asks you to name the opposite of colorful. The correct answer is drab, which means lacking brightness or interest. Okay, so as we went about that, that certainly makes sense. And then we would pick drab. But so even say you had picked black, like at least you got it down to 50-50, right? And if on trickier, there's gonna be some where you know what the words mean, some where you get confused. But if you're always getting it down at least to 50-50, like we did here in both of these examples, where before when you weren't sure of the answer, it was 1 out of 4. Okay, you've improved your score by several points by getting it down to 50-50. You're not going to get all of them right when it's 50-50, but you should get about half of them. And that's significantly better than 25%. Okay, so that's vocab logic.